Thank you very much, colleagues. Let me just start by stating that we're extremely satisfied with the result. We have seen over the course now of several months a catastrophic situation turn into a dystopian nightmare, as I described it in my statement. 45,000 Palestinians have been killed, many more probably if you include those under the rubble. And we have an obligation as representatives of the international community to respond and to react. And that is what we did today with this resolution. Many countries, many organizations, and also the UN, are ready to step up their humanitarian efforts. There's not a lack of willingness, there's a lack of access. That is the fundamental problem. Israel is not collaborating, Israel is not facilitating humanitarian access, development assistance. All these organizations, countries, the UN, who want to make a difference, who want to help all those who are stuck, trapped in this nightmare, and to help them to alleviate the suffering. And we're just not getting access. So today, the international community has said enough. We have an obligation to respond, as I said. Israel is claiming that they have a right to do what they're doing. We are now seeking guidance from the highest court of the world, the ICJ, to punctuate this argument. We want clarity on the legal issues. We are determined, we are confident in our positions. We are clear-eyed about Israel's obligations. Israel, under international law, has an obligation to provide assistance, to collaborate with all those entities, the UN, humanitarian organizations, and third states, and let them help those who are suffering. And we will get this now confirmed by the ICJ, and that will be very important. Let me take this opportunity again to thank my colleagues who are with me here, who have worked so diligently over the course of many weeks and nights. Chile, Egypt, Guyana, Indonesia, Ireland, Jordan, Malaysia, Namibia, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Slovenia, South Africa, and Spain. We have worked days and nights in order to find the appropriate language, in order to find a resolution that we considered to be appropriate for and would attain support from the entire membership. And I think today's result vindicates our strategy. We have been supported in this endeavor by, again, 137 countries, which is unified in our determination to see this current dystopia end and to let humanitarian actors come in and make a difference. So again, let me thank all my colleagues. Let me thank the entire membership for their clear stance. We are not relenting on these humanitarian principles. We are not relenting on our determination to see the situation in Gaza and on the West Bank and on East Jerusalem turn into a better situation for the Palestinians. And we are working, and we are looking forward to working also on the other side of this adoption to get aid into the Palestinian occupied territories and ensure that the suffering that we're seeing, which is unconscionable, can come to an end. So thank you very much. This is just one step of many steps that will need to be taken, and we are determined to work with colleagues also beyond those who are standing here in order to vindicate our strategy, in order to alleviate suffering, and in order to respect and ensure respect for the UN Charter. So thank you very much, colleagues, and I appreciate the opportunity. I'll give the floor now to my colleague from Jordan to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Minister, and I thank Norway for the leading role that they have played in gathering momentum, negotiating, and adopting this resolution. This is another milestone for the work of the United Nations. We are at a juncture whereby if we have to stand with the principles of the organization and about defending its entities when they are under attack. This is one of the primary reasons that we went with this resolution. The other reason is that we see a people, a whole population in occupied territory, Palestine, that are being subjected to an attack, systematic attack, together with all the organizations that are working to alleviate the suffering of the Palestinian people and all other entities and states. This systematic action by Israel to undermine international law, international humanitarian law, must be confronted by all legal and political means. And this resolution is another step towards confronting Israel on what they're doing. Might is not right. Unfortunately, this is what we are seeing. They are seeing people who are proud of using force against deprived Palestinian population, civilians, without any effective action on behalf of the international community to stop this. And we are, as all states that accepted the charter, accepted peaceful resolution of our conflict, we are going to the ICJ again for an advisory opinion on a matter which is essentially within the jurisdiction of the United Nations and the General Assembly. And part of it is UNRWA's work, UNRWA's functions, and its ability to survive the onslaught by Israel. So this is what I have to say. This is a first step, and we encourage everyone, all members of the international community, to respond and eventually to contribute to submissions before the ICJ once the court decides for the proceedings. Thank you.
Sure.
Very quickly, my name is Ibtisam Azim, Al Arabi Al Jadid newspaper. Just first a follow-up, technical follow-up. When do you expect the ICJ to get back to you in an answer? And then the U.S. representative, when he explained why his country, before the vote, when he explained why his country is going to vote against the resolution, he basically put the blame, I'm paraphrasing here, put the blame on the UN, and also said that such a resolution would lead to the collapse of the humanitarian aid. Your comments on that? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Those are excellent questions. First, on the timing of the advisory opinion, that of course is for the court to decide, but we are hopeful that the court will come back with an advisory opinion in the not too distant future. We're hoping to see something from the court prior to the summer break. This is something which is urgent for the court to clarify. We have made it clear also in the resolution that this needs to be tackled by the court with urgency. So we're again hopeful that this will be pronounced on by the court within a few months. As for the statement provided by the U.S., of course, we take issue with that statement. We think the UN has been working, and especially, of course, UNRWA has been working with dedication, with determination, and actually with a whole host of risk involved. I think UNRWA has lost over 240 staff members as part of their operations on the Gaza Strip and on the West Bank. And we are very, very concerned about the developments, and as my colleague from Jordan alluded to, we are extremely concerned about this recent legislation that has been adopted by Israel, which cannot be implemented. The UN is a part of this ecosystem on the Gaza Strip, on the West Bank, in East Jerusalem, because the Palestinians are subjected to an illegal occupation. We know that the occupation is illegal. This has been confirmed by the court on numerous occasions. So while this occupation lasts, we have an obligation, the UN has an obligation to provide life-saving support. The UN is doing exactly that. And the UN could be much more effective if Israel has lived up to its obligations under international law and collaborated with the UN. But they're doing the opposite. They're putting in place impediments. And this is what we're addressing with this resolution. This cannot stand. And we're confident that the court will come back with a clear result that vindicates what I'm just saying now, what we are all unified in believing. And hopefully Israel will take guidance from the court, take guidance from the entire membership of the UN, and readjust its positions. Because at the current moment, the people on the Gaza Strip especially, but also those on the West Bank, are living through a nightmare that we have an obligation to respond to, and that is what we have done today. Thank you.
What if Israel does not honor the ruling of the ICJ because they have not honored all related Gaza-Israeli war opinions and rulings?
Well, I think in the short term, this is to be expected. I think that Israel will not abide by this resolution, but we see there's a lot of empirical data that supports the notion that over time, countries tend to implement, abide by their obligations under international law, try to take a different approach. We know that there are forces within Israel that want to take a different approach. We know that there are forces in other countries who have traditionally supported Israel that wants to take a different approach. We are hoping to give momentum, oxygen, leverage to those states, those stakeholders who want Israel to collaborate with humanitarian actors, with third states who are trying at the best of their abilities, and first and foremost perhaps the UN, to help those Palestinians. And for us, this is a moral principle, this is a political principle, but it's also a legal principle. And we want to tick all of those boxes. And we're confident that when we have this decision by the court, this will give us another springboard for advocacy in favor of these humanitarian principles.
Do you have any message for President-elect Trump that is coming soon? Any message that could help this?
We are looking forward to collaborating with Trump, with the incoming U.S. administration. We know that Trump has been clear that he wants to see the conflict in the Middle East resolved. He has said clearly, and we have credibility in those statements, that he wants to be a president of peace. There's only one solution in the Middle East if we are to attain peace, and that is the two-state solution. Right now we have a one-state non-solution. We need to translate that into a two-state solution, which gives security to Israel, which gives sovereignty to Palestine. This is something that Norway has worked on for many, many years, and we are still committed to that outcome. And we are looking forward to partnering with the U.S. and everyone, essentially, who wants to see that outcome and who wants to work with the Palestinians who are in favor of that outcome, with the Israelis who are in favor of that outcome, and with the entire membership of the UN who subscribe to this result. Well, thank you very much. I think that finalizes this press conference, and I appreciate it. And let me again thank all my colleagues here who have worked so tirelessly with such integrity to bring this forward. Thank you very much.